Okay, when you think about puberty, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Probably stuff like growth spurts, voices changing, all the classic health class material, right? But what if I told you the real story? The most mind blowing part of puberty has almost nothing to do with your body. It's all about your brain. That's right. The entire process kicks off deep inside your brain. You can kind of think of it like the Mission Control Center, launching one of the most complex and important projects of your entire life. So let's get into it. Let's pull back the curtain on this incredible neurological journey that's happening just behind the scenes. This isn't just about getting taller. This is the story of your brain being completely and totally rebuilt from the ground up. Yeah, because while all those physical changes get all the attention, the most profound and honestly the most fascinating transformation is the one you can't even see. So, how does this whole thing even start? Where's the on switch? Well, to really understand puberty, we have to find that master switch inside the brain that kicks this whole incredible process into gear. It all comes down to this tiny but super powerful region called the hypothalamus. At some point, usually between ages 9 and 14, it just decides it's time. It fires the starting pistol by releasing these waves of a special hormone, basically sending out a memo to the rest of your body that says, okay, it's go time. And let's be clear, this is not an overnight thing, not even close. We're talking about a marathon, not a sprint. This brain transformation is a slow, steady process that can last for 4, even 5 years. So, who are the chemical messengers actually doing all this work? Well, meet puberty's all-stars, estrogen and testosterone. They're produced in the ovaries and testes, and they get sent on this really critical mission with a very, very specific destination in mind. And their journey is pretty amazing. As you can see here, they basically hitch a ride in your bloodstream and travel straight to your brain. And once they get there, they get to work, literally interacting directly with your neurons and reshaping the connections between them. This is the stuff that fundamentally changes how you feel, how you think, and how you see the entire world. But here's the thing, this remodeling project doesn't happen everywhere at once. Nope. Certain parts of the brain get a massive upgrade first, and they get it the most dramatically. It's like it turns your brain into this supercharged emotion engine. We are talking about the limbic system. This is basically your brain's emotional core. It's responsible for all kinds of feelings and behaviors, and, you guessed it, during puberty, it gets a serious upgrade. Let's take the amygdala, for instance. We often hear about it as the brain's threat detector, but it also helps you read all those subtle emotions on your friends' faces. So as it develops, it doesn't just make you feel more intensely, it actually makes you better at connecting with people. It even primes your brain to learn new things. How cool is that? And then there's the nucleus accumbens. This is your brain's reward and sensation-seeking hub. As those hormones surge, the activity here just goes into overdrive. And that's why trying new things, taking risks, and even just hanging out with your friends can feel so incredibly rewarding and so important during these years. Okay, so all of this super fast emotional development creates this really fascinating imbalance. And it's the source of a really common and often totally unfair stereotype about how teenagers behave. So here's the deal with that imbalance. Your brain's emotion and reward centers, think of that as the gas pedal, are developing at lightning speed. It's floored. But the parts responsible for impulse control and regulating emotions, that's the brakes, are maturing on a much slower timeline. We're talking well into your 20s. But, and this is a huge but, this imbalance does not mean that teens are just impulsive or irrational. Actually, the research tells a way more nuanced story. As one study puts it, teens are absolutely just as capable as adults of making thoughtful, logical decisions. So the real challenge isn't about being able to make a logical choice. It's about trying to access that logic while you're navigating this storm of supercharged emotions, in the heat of a stressful moment. And you know what? This long, drawn-out development period isn't a mistake. It's not a bug in the system. It's a feature. It's what keeps the teenage brain so incredibly flexible and adaptable, perfectly designed for learning, for figuring out who you are, and for building the skills you're going to need for the rest of your life. And this brings us to what might be the most empowering part of this whole story. See, this isn't just some biological process that just happens to you. It's a story where your own experiences and your own choices get to play the leading role. And yeah, science is still figuring out some of the details, like what exactly pulls that trigger in the first place. But one thing is becoming crystal clear. Hormones aren't the whole story. The experiences you have, the challenges you decide to take on, all of that is just as influential in shaping who you become. So what this all really means is that even when it feels like your brain and your body are totally running the show, the truth is you have way more power to steer your own development than you probably think. And honestly, this quote just nails it. The everyday choices you make, from learning a new skill to being a good friend to setting a healthy boundary, every single one of those things is actively helping to build the person you are and the person you will become. You're not just a passenger here. You are the co-pilot of your own brain. So, knowing that you're the co-pilot, the question isn't just about what's happening to you anymore, right? It's about what you choose to do with this incredible, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to shape your own mind. It's something to think about.